कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, अरे कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधो। साहब मिले सबूरी में, अरे साहब मिले सबूरी में, मन लागो यार फकीरी में, मन लागो।
Have you got an advice to be a little bit less identified to my body or attached?
You will always be identified. To be identified is to seek completion. The ego sense says I exist, and it wants to say that I exist as something XYZ something. So it will always be attached and identified to something. It will say I am A, I am B, I am C, I am D. But it would always need something to call its own. Now, what is it that you want to call your own? What is it that you want to be closely associated with? Find a right one. When you have found the right one, then you will not feel the need to be associated with the inferior ones, the false ones. Find the right one to call your own. Find the one who will never betray you. Find the one that never passes away. Find the one you can completely rely upon. Find the one that is not an in-between, but the ultimate. What is it? Ultimately, what is it that you want? Ultimately, what is the desire behind all desires? Call that your own. Be identified with that. What is it that you really desire? What is that which, if obtained, would make unnecessary all further attainment? What is it?
Completeness, fulfillment, peace.
Identify with that. Instead of asking for disidentification, rather identify yourselves fully. Be dedicated fully. Be owned fully. Be committed and attached fully. In other words, be totally surrendered to peace, to completeness. Which means, not for a moment would you entertain thoughts that talk of incompleteness. Not for a moment would you promote that within yourself which calls yourself as limited, petty, afraid, insecure. The ego needs the right partner. It needs a right bed to sleep on. Give it the right partner. Give it a nice resting place. When you have given the ego a nice resting place, it sleeps there like a kid. And relaxes. Love peace so much that you would not bear being separated from it even for a moment. Love peace more than your life. Say that I am prepared to lay down my life, but I am not prepared to live in lack of peace. Be prepared to die any moment. Pay the highest price possible. Be totally identified with peace. Yes.
Just to share some, it seems very attractive, but I got thoughts that it's a way to run away. It's a way to run away.
No, it's not a way to run away. It would demand intense action at times. In fact, it is impossible to escape away in peace. The world is such that it would challenge you, attack you, invite you. You cannot escape away. The world is everywhere. You have to stand your ground and really fight. You have to fight for peace. And do you think that if you quit a place, it is some sort of cowardice? Most people are unable to break away from their situations, from their workplaces, from their homes, or from their relationships, not because they are responsible or committed, but because they are afraid. So quitting or going away is an act of great courage. In fact, most people who stay put are the ones who lack courage. They keep dying daily but are unable to break away. It requires a Buddha to break away from his kingdom, from his wife, from his so-called responsibilities, from his son. It requires a Buddha to really go away. Would you call the Buddha an escapist? Would you call him a coward? No, he was committed to peace. And he said that if the royal palace, the beautiful wife, the kingdom, the respectability, if none of that is giving him peace, he won't take the kingdom. He paid the highest price, and that is why he is the Buddha. Don't you see people around you, how they are stuck and how they still return to their personal hells every night, and they go back to the same places every morning? It requires one real courageous man to refuse that cycle.
And it's not even, if I may say, and it's not even so much the fear of not having where to sleep or to eat, because every one of us know deep inside, I will have to eat, I will have to sleep somewhere. No, it's the fear of that the society, what the society will say. Oh, he quit his job.
Psychological dependence.
Yeah.
It is not so much physical. It is not as if you would starve. Our friend is putting it quite rightly. We all know we would not starve. We all know we would get a shelter. It is just psychological dependence because we are identified with men. We are identified with institutions and relationships. Be identified rather with peace. Be identified rather with truth. And then you don't have to be dependent on anybody else. Then you can continue with everybody in peace or break away in peace. Breaking away is not a big deal anymore then.
There is a paradox there, because this anger or anything else is seen from the peaceful state. So the anger is seen from the peaceful state. So there is a paradox there.
That peaceful state is always there.
Yeah.
Always there.
Yeah.
Had that peaceful state not been there,
Yeah.
anger will not appear as anger.
But it appears as anger for the others sometimes.
Even to
They
yourself.
interpret it as anger, but maybe it's not really anger.
Others will know anger only as a behavioral pattern. They will see you getting red in the face or shouting. They will call it anger. So let's keep others aside for a while. Let's look at our own perception of anger. How do you know that you are angry? How do you know that it is a special state? How do you know that it is not routine? Why do you pick up the topic of anger to discuss here? It is because you very well know that anger is unnatural and peace is natural. Otherwise, why would you discuss anger as a problem? There is something within you which very well knows that anger is alien and artificial. And that something is peace. Even in the moment of deepest anger, you are never really satisfied with being angry. You are never really comfortable with anger. Don't you see when your body rebels against anger? If you are angry for too long, your body will crumble. You may get a heart attack. If you are angry for too long, your mind will crumble. So even the body mind know that anger is not your natural state. Which means even the body mind know that peace is the natural state. So you already are peace. Even in anger, it is peace that calls anger as anger.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is what is. Because sometimes the anger is only on the surface, like a wave, but then it's seen from deep inside and it's not seen as anger, in fact, from that state.
Seen by yourself?
By myself.
By yourself. Yes, it is all right. Wonderful.
It happened this morning that I saw this anger arising. But it was not really an anger. It was just the way which came to express that now there is a limit here. For example, you see someone caught in his ego trip, I call it like this, and is expressing some anger to you. So you get this vibe, but there is no judgment because there is nobody to take this anger. Really, we get this impact, but it's seen that there is anger there, but there is no judgment really. But at the same time, you feel that you have to protect yourself in a certain way because someone can be aggressive and even physically violent. So there is something natural which is coming here to protect also.
You can even be judgmental. There is nothing wrong with being judgmental. If being judgmental means knowing the false as false, then being judgmental is quite important. So
I call it discernment more than
yes, you
judgment.
can call it discernment, yes. But often in the name of not being judgmental, even discernment is quelled. Judge, but judge with discernment. Judge, but judge in peace. Judge rightly. Existence does not offer any obligations to behave in particular ways. All that existence says is live in your essential nature. It does not say behave in particular ways. An elephant behaves the way an elephant does. A tiger behaves differently. A fish behaves differently. You too can behave differently, and that differently is not a particular pattern. The mind has its various colors, various swings and moods, which can keep varying. So the kind of behavior you exhibit is no object to be ratified as right or wrong. You have all the right to shout at someone. You have all the right to even hit someone. You have as much right to hit someone as you have the right to embrace someone. But whatever you do, do honestly. Do rightly. Do not do from a point of ambition or fear or greed.
To be authentic.
Be authentic. Even in your anger, be authentic.
So I said, I am angry.
Of course, one is
because
often
of
angry.
your comportment, not because of you. I'm not angry after you, but your comportment
Yes,
is make me feeling
Yes.
angry because it's not acceptable. You have to respect.
Yes.
You misrespect me. And I want to show you this is the limit. You don't have to cross
Yes,
because
yes.
I have also to protect
Yes,
myself.
yes. And having done that, there is no need for guilt at all. Not at all.
Yeah. No, I don't feel any guilt.
Yes. Be accountable to the real one, not to social morality. Be accountable to God, be accountable to truth. There, if you commit mistakes, then seek forgiveness. Only in the eyes of truth must you uphold yourself. You have no obligation to be proven right in the eyes of society.
The point is to express the limit that the people have not to cross
Yes,
with
of course.
inequity.
Of course.
With inequity. That's the point.
That you can decide. That is a matter of your individual living. That you can decide. But decide from the right point. And after that, whatever you do, whatever happens through you is all right. Support yourself, back yourself. No need to feel doubtful of yourself.
It's strange because the feeling is I don't really need the respect of this person, for example, but my feeling is he needs to be more respectful for himself. This is my feeling.